Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Raja, and today I'll be teaching you guys blood transfusions. So, the transfusion reactions actually. So, before starting transfusion reactions, let's just highlight it up. It's transfusion reaction. So, we have discussed about the blood grouping in our previous video. So what really happens in transfusion reaction is human blood, when the human blood we know that human blood contains antibodies against those antigens. Blood contains antibodies against those antigens that are missing on that specific RBC surface. So the RBC that contains antibodies against antigen that are missing on its surface. So remember this, they will form up antibodies. There would be antibodies in a blood cell that only against only those antigens that are missing on RBC surface. Those antigens that are present on the RBC surface, they won't have any antibodies in their specific RBC. So I hope you got the concept. So for example, we have blood group AB. So as we have discussed in our previous video, that AB blood group has no antigen, AB blood group has both A and B antigens. So as we have said, that human blood contains antibodies against those antigens that are absent on the RBC surface. So here in this case, there is no antigen missing. So AB blood group has both A and B antigens, so there won't be any antibodies. There won't be no antibodies. So I hope you got the concept. Similarly, in blood group A, what happens is blood group A has A antigen. Blood group A has A antigen, but no B antigen, which means blood group A has no B antigen, so there will be antibodies against this B antigen because that B antigen is missing on the blood group A. So there will be anti-B antibodies, because the RBC that will form up antibodies against the antigen that is missing. So it's gonna form anti-B antibodies because it has no B antigen. Similarly, in blood group B, there is only B antigen and no A antigen. So there will be anti A antibodies. Similarly, in blood group O, there is like no antigen. It has no anti-A and B antigen. So it will have like both anti-A and B antibodies because it has no antigens. So when it has no antigen, then it's gonna form up antibodies against both of the antigens that are missing. In this case, both A and B antigens are missing, so there will be anti-A and anti-B antibodies. So I hope you got the concept. So here's the thing you should know about ABO incompatibility. As we know that these antibodies that are gonna be formed on the RBC surface against the antigens, they won't be present. These antibodies, they won't be formed up at birth, nor they are congenital. So remember this thing, that these antibodies are not going to be there congenitally, or they won't be formed up at birth. Always remember that they are going to always be formed at age of 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months of life. And how are they going to be formed up? As a result of cross reaction. I'll come to this. Let me just write it down for you. As a result of a cross reaction with the similar food or bacterial antigen. So here is the thing, that these antibodies will be formed at the age of 3 to 6 months of life, meaning they will be formed as a result of cross reaction with a similar food or bacterial antigen. For example, there is streptococcal infection, streptococcal bacteria is going to infect. When it infects a certain individual, it's having same structure as that of antigen. So in this case, whenever you will get infected by a certain streptococcal that is like resembling a specific antigen on the RBC surface, then RBC is going to produce the antibodies against that antigen. So that's how these antibodies are going to be formed up. So moving on to the ABO incompatibility. In ABO incompatibility, you should know that whenever there is a mother, when there is a mother having blood group O, if mother is having blood group O, then in this case this ABO incompatibility can produce hemolysis. Of course, when mother is having blood group O, which has both anti-A and anti-B antibodies, then in this case this type of ABO incompatibility can produce hemolysis, because the baby, if the mother is blood group O and the baby is not blood group O, baby is having some other blood group, then in this case there will be ABO incompatibility, and this type of ABO incompatibility can produce hemolysis, because we know when there is both anti-A and anti-B antibodies on an RBC, and that type of RBC, the blood group is blood group O, and in this case these type of antibodies are named as IgG antibodies, and these IgG antibodies can cross placenta. So in this type of ABO incompatibility, when the mother is having blood group O, that can produce hemolysis, because mother will have IgG antibodies which can cross placenta and produce hemolysis in the child RBC. So this is one concept. While incompatibility, this was between mother, and if the baby is having some other blood group, and the ABO incompatibility between baby and mother usually don't occur. Because in this type there will be IgM antibodies, because the baby can't have blood group O, so baby would be having some other blood group, and these type of blood groups, they won't have both the antibodies, and these type of single antibodies are named as anti-IgM. So this IgM can't cross placenta. ABO incompatibility between baby and mother usually don't occur, because they have IgM antibody that will be formed up which can't cross placenta. But if the mother is having blood group O, then in this case there would be severe hemolysis in the child, because mothers in blood group O mother will have IgG antibody that can cross the placenta. So this is it, and stay tuned for my next video. We'll be carrying on from here. Next we will discuss is the mismatch transfusions. This was the core concept about the transfusion reactions. We haven't discussed the mismatch reactions. We'll be discussing in the part 2 of this video. Well, thank you very much. Stay tuned and just keep watching my videos. And I love you guys. And please subscribe my channel and hit the like button. Thank you all.